So this is how I figure out how to navigate around my sense of perfectionism, my hoarding of gear, my obsessiveness about content creation, and all the rest, how to present yourself in front of a camera, which kind of microphone you want to use, a bunch of YouTube videos that I have binge watched trying to find out, okay, how could I set a scene? What would it look like? Blah, blah, blah. And still, I didn't create any content. I'm not sitting in front of a camera and I'm not pressing the record. So, and this is how I solved it. So as many of you probably can relate. I mean, if you're here, you know probably like the feeling of, hey, you know what? I'm not ready yet. So what do you do when you don't feel ready? You prepare yourself. So how your preparation looks like nowadays. Back in the days, you used to use like books and limited resources when it comes to experiences of others. So that's quite easy actually to make decisions because the level of information that you can take in is quite limited. It's on the books that you can access, and the data is limited, even if it comes to the actual crystallized experience and wisdom of the people around you. But nowadays, at our fingertips, where's my phone? Imagine my phone. And at our fingertips, we can find out unlimited amount of information. And it would be easy to believe that the more information we have, the more clarity we get. And the easier it's going to be to make a decision. But if you really think about it and hold a breath, right? How would like unlimited amount of information help you make a decision on how you want to show up on YouTube, Instagram, any social media channel that you want? While some information help you make a decision, an informed decision, unlimited amounts of information is just confusing, especially when you're trying to get the experience of others around you. It used to be limited to the people you can access, right? In your city, in your town, in the village. But nowadays, you can access the entire world. And the way you can record and the opinions or experiences that are being shared on YouTube, while it might be educating and informative and maybe sometimes educational, there are as many opinions or ways to record as there are people who want to share it. So by consuming more information and getting more input in from other people on how they do it, it might help, and I hope it does. And in some way, it educated me. But when it comes to making a decision, it doesn't help at all, because making a decision, I believe, to decide means to kill things off. Is to narrow down on the path that you want to walk, the way you want to create content, which is confusing, but in of itself, the word content creation. And I found for me, it's a lot easier to, instead thinking of content creation, divided these sequences logically, and that would make sense and help me make decision. So the first path that I was stuck in for years, no joke, like for years, because I knew I wanted to share my stories, right? It's not like I have all the solutions, but at least I can share, and you can, in the comment section below, help me walk through it, maybe. So that's going to be a therapy. But at the same time, if you think about it, where was I? Unlimited information. Here. Making decision. Yeah, when you want to make decision, while you can separate it, when you can separate it, it's going to be easier, right? I mean, the first part is the educational part. So if you take the just facts, right? What's the camera, how to record, how to press a button, what kind of gear you're gonna use, how much data you're gonna be having, on which platform you're gonna be doing stuff. Those are just informational base, right? So you need the information, and that's Google is good for nowadays. ChatGPT, and even the experience of others, how they do it, is very useful and very educational. But if you're stuck in the educational part, as I was, you don't really move forward. You don't really create content. And for me, when I split it down and reframe my mind, it's not about content creation, because it's a very abstract concept that is hard to grasp for someone like me. But if I shift the thought to, I want to share a story, and then divide it into different steps to do. So first, it's the education we talked about, but then also the evaluation of the information. So what is important to me? Now we are framing it instead of like a bunch of options that are just limitless to, hey, you know what? These are the options that I know of that the world is presenting. Those people who are already walked the path have shown their experiences. Now I'm gonna evaluate the information if it's fitting to me and to what I want to say and what I want to do. And by not telling yourself to create content, which is very artificial for me, but to want to tell a story, you can frame it to yourself and ask yourself, okay, I've evaluated on the basis of my financial situation and of the situation, like circumstances I'm in, and the thing that I want to share, these kind of tool I'm gonna need. So instead of thinking in a abstract concept of content creation, think of it as I want to tell a story, and these are the things that I need to do it to facilitate it technically. What would I need? For most people with a more limited budget, it would be just a phone, and this works, right? I do it all the time on Instagram. That's actually how I got started as well. To get my camera shine is gone. Like I'm still somewhat shy, but it's not like I'm stuttering right now, right? And then for others, it might be a very deliberate camera setup, A B shot, some B roll, maybe taking professionally, and have everything cinematic. Maybe that's true for you. And if I had more resources in terms of time and patience, I would do it too. But you have to be honest with yourself, because that's also where I stuck in another trap of the content creation thinking and perfectionism, which is just a mask for many of the anxieties and insecurities I have had before showing up today. Yeah, you can try to mask it. And if you can't do it, maybe it's not a mask, you know? Maybe it's just the right one for you because you have the resources, patience, time, and you can put in the effort to make it. But for me, it doesn't work. What works for me is a setup that looks real, looks authentic, and I can just speak my mind. By reframing that using the instead of content creation, but using the framework of sharing story, using the educational information on the internet to just know what's there, to evaluate using my mind, um, considering my surrounding, my financials, and what I want to accomplish. At the end of the day, killing every option off and sticking to the one that works for me. So on the top of the hierarchy is me sharing the content authentically, easily, and without any friction. It's going to be a setup that I can just one press of a button, everything goes. But it also has to look in a certain way that represents who I am and the quality that I can be proud of. This is the best I can do for the time being. And this is the best I can do, guys. So sure, I can grab another camera, a tripod, and try to cut A, B, C camera. But what is more important for me? To create one video with a bunch of cuts for you, and yeah, it maybe take like a week or two for me to create it because of all the editing B-rolls that I have to take and all the shots. Or I can decide to have this fixed setup that you are seeing right now, which I can just connect to my MacBook right away, which is an M1 Pro, which is very old and simple, and connect to a camera and a microphone. And I believe the most important thing for me is to hear someone clearly when they're talking to me. So I decided to go, like, for me, all out with the microphone that sounds the best for me. And this is where we're at. This is how I overcome like these struggles, these content creation concepts that, while well-meaning and very good information on the internet, don't necessarily help me make a decision on how I want to show up and share my stories. So this is my journey. This is how I did it. I hope this has helped you in some ways too, to grant yourself the authority to make a decision on how you want to show up. And maybe thinking about content creation is very intimidating, abstract, far. But if you think about sharing a story, it's not too hard. You can just talk. I will just handle you and talk to you in a way that is most moving to me, the most authentic. And every time I have a thought that I think I can't share with anyone else, I've learned to prime myself. No matter how imperfect it's going to be, I'm going to share it with you. My name is Piddy. I hope this has been helpful. See you next time. Bye. That was good. Like that.